enjoying The Accidental Author, and it's wonderful to be here for another month of inspiration. And I have a guest this month that's going to blow your mind. She is an incredible person. She's overcome an enormous amount of stuff. I'm going to use the word stuff. She's an author. She's a speaker. She's now inspiring many, many people all around the world. So I'm going to introduce Deb Stathis. Hello, Deborah.
Hello.
I'm being very formal, calling you Deborah.
I know. That's okay.
but I'll call you Deb. Deb. Let's go Deb.
Let's go Deb. That's fine.
Let's economise with letters. So Deb, good to see you, and thank you for being on this little podcast, video cast, whatever you call it.
Likewise, thank you so much for inviting me, including me in it. I'm excited.
Good. Well, we're going to chat about, behind you is a book, like we can see that on your left-hand side, and your book is called Beyond Trauma. And I know your story, but I would like you, if you wouldn't mind, just to tell the people that are watching this, just so you know, are aspiring authors. Some of them have written and published their books. Others are just starting the journey. They're at various stages on the journey of becoming a fabulous published author like yourself. So I know they're going to be inspired by your story. But if you wouldn't mind, just tell us a little bit about your background and tell us about what led you to the decision to write your book called Beyond Trauma, and explain your cover too when you get to that point.
Sure, absolutely. So the background story leading to it is when I was much younger, I was involved in a very serious car accident. So I was driving home on a very hot summer afternoon, and it hadn't rained for a while, so the road was very slippery on an old highway in the peninsula. And as I went around a bit of a bend, I don't actually remember this because of my injuries. However, what the police statement says is that I most likely, and what the witnesses said was that I fished out on an oil slick, and that it had just started raining, so it was slippery, old highway, oil slick on the road. I hit that while going around a bend. I went into the gravel on the side of the road. I did a 180, and my car bananaed around a pole. So my 1985 Toyota Corolla C-Car with no airbags didn't provide much cushioning. So the pole hit here, of which case the steering wheel ended up pretty much in the center of the car, and I was basically cut out of the car, and airlifted to the Alfred Hospital. So I sustained really severe injuries. So my severe injuries were mostly facial. So I basically broke my lower jaw, my upper jaw, my cheekbone, the eye orbit, my forehead, my cheekbone, my upper jaw, and my nose. I punctured first layer of membrane around the brain, and had an acquired brain injury as well, so swelling, bruising, etc. And of course, lung contusion, bruising and bleeding in the left lung as well. So just a bit of injury there.
Just a few minor abrasions.
Yeah, just a few. So the initial prognosis was brain damage, blind in the right eye, and physically deformed. And it was a long journey to get through that, and a lot of dedication to work with that as well. Throughout that journey, I discovered that through being in rehabilitation and being in hospital for a long time, being in rehabilitation and then being home, I discovered that a lot of the other individuals that I met that had been in accidents or been hurt had given up, for lack of a better way of putting it, and that they didn't have that support. And I saw that other individuals in their career or in their other personal lives would give up on themselves quite easily. And I thought to myself, if I didn't give up on myself in this situation and I could recreate my life, then I want to help others do that too, which led to the book.
So let's go back a little bit, because we were having quite an in-depth conversation before we hit the record button, weren't we?
We were.
We were. And I was sort of pushing a little bit to say, well, because all odds were stacked against you, right? Like all professional opinions were that, your face is going to be a mess and you're going to be blind and you're not going to be able to live a normal life.
Well, look, odds were that I wouldn't be particularly independent. Yeah.
And look, I mean, and I look at you now, and you would never know that you've been through such a traumatic experience. I mean,
Thank you.
You're beautiful, and you can see that you've spent a lot of time. What was it inside you that picked you up and kept you going and kept you fighting and kept you wanting to get back to a normal way of living when so many, as you said, so many people had given up on the journey?
I was always a very driven person, and I wanted to experience life. So I had goals and dreams. I was a young girl when this happened, and I wanted to travel. I wanted to study. I wanted to learn. I wanted to. I loved fashion, and I'm a very social person, still am. And I wanted to go out and experience things. When I was hearing these prognosis, if you will, when I was hearing these limitations that were potentially going to be put on me or being put on me, with the best of intentions, mind you, but in that environment, I was hearing, this will be a struggle, this will be a struggle, this is going to be hard, this is going to be hard. I was, in my mind, seeing all those dreams disappear, and I basically wouldn't have that. So I said to myself, what can I do to recreate my life? Is there another way that I can achieve everything that I want to achieve? I'm not going to give up on my future. So the absolute relentless desire to live and to experience life and to be more. And through that journey, as I started doing that, this overwhelming desire to help others grew within me as well, which was there when I was younger anyway. It was always like that.
Yeah. And I think that, and that's it, isn't it? That bottom line, that real deep driven purpose to live your best life, but also to help other people. And I know that people that are watching this, they're writing books, and the reason why most people write a book, and I know the reason why you've written your book, was not just to say, hey, look, I've got a book. The reason you wrote your book was you want to inspire people and help people, and so, wow, what an incredible story. So let's talk now about, so you made a decision to write a book. Tell us a little bit about that process and that journey, because that must have been challenging in itself, revisiting everything you had to go through. How did you find that?
Challenging is a good word. Absolutely. I sourced all the medical records. So from the Alfred Hospital, I've got these massive folders of books, and reading through that was a real eye opener, because my injuries were even worse than what I thought. And as I read the police reports and the surgeons' reports and the intensive care unit reports, etc., and the doctor's reports on everything, and I put that in my book, as I was writing it, I was in tears, because memories came back that I buried or I wasn't aware of, and I didn't realise certain injuries were quite as bad as they were, so it was very challenging to relive that. And I knew that going in. I knew when I got the reports that was going to be difficult. However, I also knew that I would grow from that experience. I would be stronger for it, and I am stronger for it. And the more I know about that, the more I can actually impart that with others, to others as well.
What was the most challenging part of writing the book?
Emotionally, that was revisiting all of that.
Yep. But more, not so much emotionally, but more just process stuff and creating time, and and what you're doubting, maybe whether you doubted yourself, whether it's going to sound any good or anyone's going to read it, or whether you're going to get it published. What were some of the things you had to overcome?
Yeah, well, interestingly enough, for me, definite doubts around, is it going to be good enough? Of course, I think it's sort of, because my purpose behind it is so deep, wanting to help people and inspire others. The thought that I wouldn't get that across, or that I couldn't perhaps the way I would write things wouldn't shed light or inspire or give people tools was quite frightening to me. So I was very thorough in editing and re-editing and making sure that I put as much clarity in there as I possibly could, and consider everyone's perspective in how they would absorb something. For me as well, it was one of the first times I've come clean, if you will, with a lot of things. So, for example, the cover of my book, the very thing that I worked so hard to fix and in my younger years hide, I put on the cover of the book.
So can you just grab the book and bring it
Sure.
close to just so people can see it. There's a bit of glare.
Tell me if that's
so
okay.
Yeah.
Can you see
Yeah.
that okay?
Yeah. So that effectively is
Yeah.
your face, right? That's what's underneath.
Yeah.
There. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I've got a 4 by 10 centimetre hole cut into the front of my head when they did the brain surgery, and I've got metal plates here, there, pins all through my jaw and my cheeks, and yeah, not to mention numerous other things as well.
can I ask the obvious question? You probably had this question asked millions of times. What happens when you go to the airport and you fly? What? And you go through the.
You ask me the magnet question next.
Yeah. No, I won't ask you that question.
No, magnets do not stick to my head. No, I don't. It's titanium, so it doesn't stick. Although when I travelled to America, because they had this was a few years ago, they the full scan things, that because of terrorism stuff, which was unfortunate, but they did the full body scan. I had to tell them that they might pick something up and go and speak to the security first. So that was a little bit of a different experience for me. So yeah, that was a bit odd. I'm like, look, I might scare you when I go through here. I don't look like this underneath. So yeah, but I don't go off. No, thankfully.
Sorry, I got distracted. I just had to ask the question. So
I do it all the time.
when was your book published?
Where?
When?
Late last year, September last year,
Okay,
2019.
So it's nearly 12 months.
God, yeah, it is. And my publisher is in Canada and the US.
Yep.
So there was that was interesting working with them as well. So yeah, that was a whole process. We did a few other things together as well. So
okay, cool. So tell us what's happened since you've been a published author, because I know your vision. You've got lots of things you want to do, and how's the book helping with that? What's happened since?
Well, the good thing is, from a personal perspective, it was great to get everything out of my head into something as well, because I have a professional education and training background as well. So marrying my book and my purpose with that experience is really exciting for me, because I can combine those skills. And for me, it was it's been great to go out on my own. So I left the corporate world to go, yeah, this is my purpose. This is what I want to do. I want to write, inspire others, and speak and do workshops and help other people. And as soon as I went out there with my rebrand, if you will, and shared that, and reached out to people that I either didn't know or did know, but I also found that people came to me saying, oh wow, I didn't know if I knew them, or oh, hang on, what happened? And I was asked to, I was interviewed on a health, wellbeing and lifestyle television show. I've done a couple of interviews, podcast interviews for brain injury, stroke, etc. This interview we're doing now, and there are a number of organisations that are were keen to work with me and reached out to me to work with them to help with youths, for example, how to inspire youths, how to people find their passion, their motivation, and overcome obstacles in life with corporate stress as well. And it's been fantastic. People asking me for advice as well, just coming out of nowhere on social media and saying, oh, I've gone through this, could you help me? And it's nice. It's nice to be able to do that.
So you've got some credibility, you've obviously got some exposure, some opportunities are coming your way more and more.
Absolutely.
which is
Absolutely.
building that passion and purpose.
Absolutely.
What advice would you give to people that are watching this who are maybe at wherever they are in the journey, no matter where people are in the journey, there's an obstacle, right? Like when you're writing it, you doubt yourself and you're not sure. It might be trying to find time or create time or get into a habit. When you've finished writing it and you're trying to get published, there's doubt around rejection from publishers and will it ever get published? And then when you publish it, you worry, will anyone ever buy it, or what do I do, or how do I get it out there? What advice would you give someone, no matter where they are in the journey, to create success as an author and get their message out there?
If you don't mind, I might answer that question with a little story as well, about my own journey and the obstacles that I had. The advice is don't give up. And the reason is this. Don't put a timeline. Don't be too strict on yourself in putting a timeline on something. Don't give up. So here was my thought. I left the corporate world, like I said, started setting up, I furthered my education around coaching and behavioural psychology and things like that. And I also, I got married and we wanted to have children. And I had a grand plan of, okay, I'll start writing my book while I'm pregnant. Not a bad plan, except I was violently ill, hospitalised, couldn't walk, couldn't drive, violently ill. So yeah, that kind of went out the window in a lot of ways. So I did what I could, but it really wasn't much.
That wasn't all that went out the window by the sound of it.
Sorry?
I said that wasn't all that went out the window by the sound of it.
Let's not go there. So let me tell you that was fun. So that was with my first child, but I picked up where I left off and did bits and pieces. So whenever I felt better, I would keep going, keep writing components, keep learning, keep educating myself, and just keep chipping away at the goal. As I was going towards that, I fell pregnant with my second child, and of course, I was very ill again. Yes.
Normally you have one bad one, then you have a good one.
Nah.
Isn't that the deal?
Nah. No, it wasn't.
You got stooged.
I did, right? So bad pregnancy again, slightly different than the first one, but yeah, I literally, I had to be lifted off the ground because my hips were giving way kind of thing, and with this as well as throwing up. And anyway, hospital again, and she was induced in the end because she wanted to come out of pain, fun times. So so that was quite traumatic as well. So that's all good. Okay, again, I come out, I keep chipping away, I keep working, I keep writing. Amongst this time, I was actually invited to share my story in 2 books of inspirational stories, which I did do that, which was exciting. And that was a fantastic experience as well. I did do that, which was quite proud of myself at that particular time because I had so many hurdles. And I was getting so close to finishing, the final layout and getting my book published, and go figure, another 2 major hurdles. So my appendix almost burst and I ended up in hospital. I had a very rare complication after surgery, which meant that I had to go back into hospital. Following that, I ended up with pneumonia at the end of that year, and the beginning of the following year, I ended up with pneumonia and was hospitalised again. So just as I was getting better, illness, same thing again. So I, again, kept going. So when I say don't give up, I had an idea, I'll do this within 12 months, and I'll baby and I'll do. It took a lot longer than that, but I kept going. So I held on to my goal and I kept going. And I kept chipping away and chipping away. Yes, that was challenging, and sometimes there were really tough days amongst that. However, I knew I had to do it. And I also realized my passion for it and my purpose there. I was like, I know I can help people. And especially because of these traumas, I was living my message, which was create opportunity from tragedy. Yep. Never give up. Choose your power. That's my message. And I was living that. And by continuing with my journey of writing and to finish my book and set up my practice, my business, I was being authentic as well. And that was really important to me. So I'm like, what an example to set for my children, but also for the people that I want to help. Put your money where your mouth is, so to speak. So my advice would be keep going. Don't limit yourself because you might not hit your first target. Keep going.
Wow, I tell you what, that's a powerful message, and what a powerful example. And I know there are people watching this that they've got their little excuses like, yeah, but I'm so busy, or all of a sudden, everyone that's watching this, your excuses have just been taken away from you by Deb's story. Let me tell you that, because no one has been through what you've been through, and yet I love that message. Just keep going, keep moving forward, no matter what happens, it's going to happen. Stuff's going to happen. It's going to happen. It just will. Just keep moving. Stay focused on your dream and what you want, and you will make it happen. Deb, you are truly an inspiration. I said this before we started recording, and I say it again. And I know that you have absolutely inspired every single person that's watching this. So thank you for that. Now, if people would like to get their hands on your book, which there's a good chance they will, or if people would like to reach out to you, how do they do that?
So they can contact me via my email, which is info@tragicopportunities.com. Of course, I'm on all social media platforms as Deb Stathis, author, speaker, coach, or Tragic Opportunities as well. My website is tragicopportunities.com, of which case for purchasing my book, there's a click button to make life easy there as well. So of course, message me directly or of course, send me an email via the website or click on the buy now button if you're interested. And yeah.
No, definitely click on the buy now button. Everyone watching this, yes, you, yes, I'm looking at you, yes, you. So Deb, that's been amazing. Thank you so much for sharing of yourself and your story and your inspiration and your knowledge and everything else you've shared over the last little bit. And I look forward, you and I are going to be doing some stuff together, and I'm really looking forward to that. And I know that you will, that purpose and vision you have of inspiring people, you will do it for many, many years. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.